This is Sonic, and you're watching JD Frank 20.
Good day, everybody. Again, I apologize for the long hiatus I took. Obviously, like I said, I'm dealing with family issues right now. And I just got the information, obviously, for the funeral arrangements. So, yeah, the next couple of days are not going to be easy, obviously. I appreciate everybody being patient with me on this. And I really, really am grateful for all your support and all the kind and positive messages you've sent me over the last couple of days. That means a lot to me, honest to God. I'm truly grateful for all of that. So right now, let's just get on with today's topic video, and we'll go from there. So here's a interesting topic right here. Apparently, he says that Pontac and well, obviously it's Pontac and Graf. I believe that's the other bum's name. Again, no one cares about the other guy. Pontac is normally the primary writer for the series at the time. He says that Pontac and Graf are his favorite mainline Sonic writers thus far. Their stories always made him laugh. Included Sonic Boom, Fire, and Ice, because they wrote only 3 mainline Sonic games as far as he's aware. Okay, and this Twitter username is, well, we're going to go by the hashtag BBBlueYellow. Okay, now you're probably going to wonder, like, am I going to basically take his take and just basically make fun of it? Actually, no. Now, I understand many people may like Pontac and Graf. Look, I got some interesting information about this also. I understand that Pontac only wrote 3 mainline games, obviously, that being Sonic Lost World, Sonic Colors, and of course Sonic Generations. Sonic Generations really didn't have much of a story. Let's be real here. There's not much you can really do with the Time Eater, and almost every level from that game is just a rehashed level from a previous game. All you're doing is just updated it for graphics for both classic and modern Sonic. Now, Sonic Colors, his debut game was solid, I'm not gonna lie, but the writing just felt cringe. It just felt, you know, like it wasn't meant to be taken seriously. It just felt a little bit off, but they made it work. The gameplay got that game over, I'm not gonna lie, and to this day, Sonic Colors, you know, it beat Sonic Generations by 1 point in the Metacritic score. So yeah, how about that? And of course, Sonic Lost World. Sonic Lost World, let's be honest, the game was not well written. In fact, it's a copy of Banjo-Tooie's story. And Pontac didn't even wrote that game himself. He had some influence from that game. And it wasn't even it's unoriginal. Tails is at his worst in that game. The game felt a little bit dark here and there, but for all the wrong reasons. Oh, here's some information right here. We're going to go through the comment section, obviously, but this is one important tweet I ran into by... I'm just gonna go by hashtag Mugiwara Mikey. Seriously, what is it with you people picking fucking difficult hashtag Twitter names? Just pick a simple damn name. You don't have to be all fancy here. Okay, he says here that I think people forget that Pontac didn't choose the tone of the story. Pontac and Graf were both hired because that's the tone that Sega wanted. It was their job, and they did not want what they were told, basically. You know, like, a lot of people blame them for basically the art direction or the style that the Sonic the Hedgehog franchise was going through. You know, again, with the story, I mean, were Pontac and Graf set up for failure by Sega? I mean, you have to, you know, take this with a grain of salt with this tweet right here. Most likely they were. I mean, at the end of the day, you know, Sega has their own ways of how characters want to be written. I know for a fact that Sega, for the longest period of time, I said this in one of my earlier rant videos. You could try to find it if you can. This was back in 2019 or 2020, I forget. But I once stated that Sega was fucking misogynist, because the reason why I said that is because every single Sonic the Hedgehog title during that tenure that Pontac was the writer, the females hardly got any credibility whatsoever. None of them were even showcased in the mainline games. There were nothing there but for rah-rah support. That's the best way I can describe it. And then all of a sudden, now we're fast-forwarding into 2022. You know, with Sonic Prime obviously having Rouge return, having Amy Rose being a primary once again. Sonic Frontiers treating Amy Rose like a core character rather than a fucking side character. You know, it's no longer Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles. Amy's also in that group. So now you have a 4-person team right there. Again, you know, this theory right here, or this accusation right here by Mikey, might be accurate. Again, Sega could have just set everybody up for failure. I don't know. If that's the case, then why even retain Roger Craig Smith as a voice actor if Pontac was the problem? Like, if Pontac was the problem all along after Sonic Lost World, why wasn't he let go after Sonic Lost World's abysmal sales numbers? The game didn't even sell 1 million copies for the dead Nintendo Wii U console, because Pontac didn't even get a chance to even write for Sonic Forces. He didn't even get a chance. That was Nakamura of Sega of Japan. So if this is true, then why didn't Pontac get a chance to write for Sonic Forces? What would the story have been? What would have been his vision? Because again, they brought the Wisps back. Pontac obviously made that work with Sonic Colors with the Wisps. Same thing with Lost World, even though the story was a little bit meh here and there, and it was a copy of Banjo-Tooie's story. Again, you have to let me know on this. Like, for anyone who's got the intel on this, why wasn't Pontac given a fair chance to write Sonic Forces? Because after Forces' mediocre success, Pontac basically left in 2021, just a couple of days after Roger Craig Smith left after sending his emotional tweet. But then Roger Craig Smith returned 4 months later, knowing that Pontac and Graf were already gone at that point. And of course, the direction of Sonic Frontiers was being way better just because you have Ian Flynn. The only thing is that Ian Flynn have a lot of creative input. Did Sega allow Ian Flynn to have full creative control without having Sega to having to make changes or to restrict them? I don't know. That's one thing. Have Sega changed their ways? I would hope so. Because if Pontac was only given, limited, like if he was restricted and limited to what he could do as a visionary, as a storyteller, as a script writer for the Sonic the Hedgehog games, that's understandable. Maybe Pontac was set up for failure. It's basically a sink or swim situation for him. If that's the case, then that's kind of messed up that Sega actually did that to him, and they were wrong for doing that. Again, you have to dive in deep on this story. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this. And again, if Sega is, being a little bit loose with the storytelling, if they're actually telling, their script writers what to say, what not to say, like, is this acceptable, this is not acceptable, like, you're gonna write the story our way, but you could do whatever the hell you want, but we're gonna write the story our way, or like, what the hell, like, they're basically gonna proofread your script, and they're gonna say, we don't like this, we don't like this, we don't want Son Amy, we don't want any of this crap, we're gonna write it our way, Sonic is the hero, he saves the day, boom, win. If that's the way this is gonna be for Sega, then if that's gonna be the case, then I don't want to work for you guys, if this is gonna be the way your game series is going to be moving on for the foreseeable future. But I'm sorry. My game scripts and my stories are well enough that I could easily go solo and find an independent developer to take me seriously for my game scripts. I could use them with any other characters. Do you honestly think I need Sonic the Hedgehog characters to make my game scripts work? Hell no. I'm already in talks with somebody who is also a visionary similar to myself, and we could go out there and make our own project. We don't need Sega for all this. If this is true, that they're limiting their storytellers of what they could do and what they cannot do. Let me know what you all think. And again, I apologize for stretching this story out, but again, I don't do second takes here. Have a good day.